Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, we're back. It is episode 108 of the Hibs Ramble. It's your host here with you tonight, Liam. We're very sorry for the hiatus last week. Life ended up getting in the way. Schedules clashed, but we're back here tonight. It's Shaun who's with me this evening. Shaun, how the devil are you, mate?
Yeah, people are going to start thinking we've got an anti-Hibs agenda, considering we have a few decent results and we then don't turn up and then we get beat again and we're back. But do you know what? I'm glad to be back. Gutted we wouldn't have been able to make last week anyway. But yeah, I'm glad to be here.
So we are sorry that we missed last week, because it probably would have been one of the more positive, or probably the most positive podcasts of the season, because we ended up horsing Motherwell at Fir Park, didn't we? But we're not here to talk about that tonight, Shaun. That game has been and gone. We had a trip to Parkhead at the weekend. We'll jump straight into it. No niceties about this. No, what have we been up to? No, what did you do on your week off? Let's get straight into business. Parkhead on Saturday. It was always going to be a tough one, mate, but I feel like we were maybe going into this with a little bit more belief than we would have done had we not got a result at Fir Park the week prior.
Yeah, I think that's only natural. I think Celtic are obviously a different kettle of fish altogether, and they're a cut above everything else. But we have seen at times this season that if teams have a go at them and they get in behind them, and they take their opportunities, then you can score against them. Aberdeen, I think they were 2-0 behind and they brought it back to 2-2. I think it finished 2-2 anyway. Aberdeen done it at Celtic Park as well. Quite a few other teams against Celtic, both in the Champions League and domestically at times, have been able to exploit Celtic's poor defence. Like, they're just a wee bit all over the place at times defensively. So I think the way that we got our goals against Motherwell, and a mixture of that and the fact that at times little steady improvements on our performances, we, like you said, we probably went into that game with a little bit more confidence than we thought, and as it turned out, we clearly did have a game plan.
Yeah, you could see from the start. Obviously, Big Mick has a really good chance in the first couple of minutes, but you could see that the game plan from Hibs was to exploit Celtic's high line, and they were playing a very, very high line. I don't know. You said
which is weird, considering Martin Boyle was on the bench. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I think obviously Celtic are a team that can play with a philosophy and they can play with a certain style, and I mean, them and Rangers are the teams in the league that can implement that style to every single game, regardless of who the opponent is. Other teams in the division can't, because of the strength of opposition. Whether it be if a St Johnstone came to Easter Road or Tynecastle or Pittodrie, it's a different game than if they're playing Ross County at home. You know what I mean? So Celtic obviously have that kind of game plan, that high line and high press instilled into them. And David Gray must have had a look at that through the week, because we attacked that from the off. And really, really good chance first couple of minutes for Kukarevich, and you can maybe explain it away a little bit. Maybe it's come a shade too early for him. I certainly wasn't expecting a Hibs player to be clean through on goal, 30 yards out and have a massive chance to score, but he's got to do better there.
Yeah, you might be able to excuse him because it's too early, but I can't. I think a player of... Yes, he's not been great in this spell. Was he that great in the first spell? Jury's maybe out on that one. I thought he was no bad, very unfortunate in the first spell. But I feel like there is quality there. He's built for this league, as in his physicality and how he plays. But this season we've just not played to his strengths, and he's had a real tough time of it, and that's probably played a part. The only reason I can see him taking that chance the way that he's taking it is he's got too much time on his hands.
Yeah.
really, really frustrating. Like David Gray would have instilled them right into at the start of the match and before they left the changing room. Sorry, you need to take your opportunities. You're not going to get many opportunities here. It turns out we actually got loads. We got about 9 chances in total, 9 shots on target, but that's very, very rare to happen at Celtic Park, especially against a very, very good Celtic side. So he's paid to be the main man. He's paid to be up front. He's paid to be our target man, our main man, our striker, whatever you want to label him as. Any striker worth their salt finishes that. And you know
Yeah.
what? I would back myself to finish it. And I think maybe for a player like Kukurevich, I would say maybe 8 out of 10 times that probably goes in.
Does Dwight Gale score it?
I think 9 times out of 10 Dwight Gale scores that. And I think 10 out of 10 Ellie Yuan scores that. And I think 9 out of 10 Martin Boyle scores that. I think it's just very, very unfortunate that he's short of confidence.
Yeah.
He's taken that extra touch as well, and he's not done himself any favours. But what frustrated me with it the most is that I think he's tried to go across the defender with that extra touch
Mm-hmm.
to anticipate potentially contact or take him away from being able to make the contact. Whereas if he stays on his right foot, that potentially gives the defender a better opportunity to win the ball and make a block.
Yeah.
So I think he's tried to be smart and think, right, I'm going to cut across the defender and then basically take him out of the game and then make sure it is a one-on-one, and then all I need to do is just slot it past.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not as easy as that when you've got a Schmeichel in goals.
Yeah. It's Kukurevich. I mean, I think for a striker, your bread and butter should be being able to finish one-on-ones. That should be bare minimum for a striker at this
One-on-ones
level.
is very, very difficult though.
They are very
Any
difficult,
striker
but
will limit that, especially when you've got loads of time.
Kukurevich has never struck me as the kind of player who wants to play on the shoulder and beat that offside trap and bear down on goal. He's never struck me as the kind of player that has that as his strength, whereas
Clearly never
Dwight
struck a ball
Gale,
properly after the weekend as
Dwight
well.
Gale maybe does, and Ellie Yuan definitely does. Kevin Nisbet did when he was at the club. So I'm not trying to find excuses for him. I just don't think that the way that we set up and looked to attack Celtic on Saturday, I don't think Kukurevich was the best choice to be playing up front. I get it from a physicality point of view, from a height point of view, trying to compete with Carter Vickers and Austin Trusty, because they're obviously a pair of very strong and very tall centre halves, and having a Dwight Gale up there on his own maybe wouldn't have been the best option. But if that was the game plan to then play on the shoulder and get in behind, maybe Dwight Gale would have been the better option. I think Kieran Bowie even does a lot better there as well. I mean, it's just a shame that he's still out injured. But, it's good to see that we were actually getting the ball forward and getting ourselves into those areas, because you've got to be in those areas to score goals.
Yeah, I mean, you see the team line come out, and I would have been surprised if Kukurevich wasn't in the starting 11, just purely because of the way I would have expected us to shape up against Celtic. So the fact, regarding what you're saying, regarding being high line and exploiting that, obviously David Grace thought he was the right man to do both those jobs. And listen, like I said, on another day, he probably takes them, and on most other days, he probably takes them. But unfortunately, that happens. And that clearly affects his decision making for his second opportunity as well.
Oh,
You can see
100%.
that. It's just unfortunate.
High pressure situations though as well, Shaun. Like it can't be easy bearing down on
Separates your
goal.
average strikers from your good ones.
Yeah, of course it does. I've seen a lot of folk on socials saying that we should send them back in January and whatever. I think Mick is a good option to have. Should he be the starting striker? I don't think so, but I don't think he would have been anyway. I think he would have always been behind Kieran Bowie. So it's maybe a little bit unfair to kind of judge him as
The
that.
main man.
I don't know. Listen, I think I would keep him, but we definitely need someone else in January.
Yeah,
But if that means that we need to let go one of Dwight Gale or Kukarevich, surely it would make more financial sense to send Kukarevich back to Swansea.
yeah.
But um,
In fairness, though, there's probably lots of strikers in the league that of other clubs where they're through 1-on-1 and they're maybe not standing there like ready to celebrate and they're not ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Like Adam Ida and Kyogo, Celtic fans, when they're through 1-on-1, they're expecting a goal because of the quality of their striker.
yeah,
But even Rangers with Dessers, they're probably like, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss.
mm,
Whereas like Sockler for Aberdeen, maybe Nisbet to an extent, Aberdeen fans are like that. Shanklin 2 months ago, Hearts fans would have been like, don't miss, don't miss. Whereas last season, Hearts fans would have been like already
yeah.
celebrating the goal. So it just, listen, you need your key areas of the pitch to perform well to have a good season. And at the minute, our key areas have not been performing well, and that's goalkeeping and striking.
Well, I say that I said it a few weeks ago, didn't I? That I thought the problem area was that we are completely unable to score goals. We're relying on Nicky Cadden, who's essentially a left back, um, to get our goals for us. It's a very trying time at the moment, and if we can't get players to chip in with scoring consistent amounts of goals, or even an area of the park that's not fullback chipping in with goals, like if the centre midfield's coming in with goals or the wingers are coming in with goals, and you can kind of excuse that a little bit, but there's no consistent goal scoring coming from anywhere, which is very, very frustrating. Um, you just mentioned it there about the defending and the goalkeeping situation. Just a couple of minutes after Mick's first chance, Celtic go up the other end of the park, and it's been a problem area for us for a long, long time. Balls in from wide. Nicholas Kuhn does excellently well to fire the ball across, and it's a good finish in the end. I can't remember who scored. Who scored it? I can't
Now
remember.
you're
I watched the
asking.
highlights this
Do you
morning.
know? Do you know what it is? Right, because of how well we played,
Oh, was it?
I.
It was on Engels. It was on Engels who scored.
But it's one of those. It's one of those things. See in life where you're like kind of embarrassed of it. You just try and block it out as much as possible, and that's kind of what the weekend result is. Not because we got beat by Celtic, but because of the fact that we had so many opportunities.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel embarrassed that we came away with 0 goals and no
Mhm.
points, and tried to forget about as much of it as possible. But yeah, Arne Engels. Is that his first name? I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
Scored Arne Engels scored the first goal.
and it's a good goal from a Celtic perspective. It's probably a goal that Brendan Rodgers would probably be very happy with that. Nicholas Kuhn, you know, running us ragged down Celtic's right hand side, and it's a really nice ball in. I don't know if Jordan Smith can do any better. I think maybe Arne Engels can be a little bit more tightly marked, but these are goals. I don't want to say that that's unavoidable, but it's well
But it's
worked.
unavoidable.
It's well worked, and Arne Engels does well to get into the space that he's in the box. We can maybe be a little bit, more on our toes, but at the end of the day, that's that's just Celtic showing their quality and flexing their muscles, and us not being able to compete in those areas.
£9 million player as well. Let's not
11,
forget.
was
Do
it
you know
not
what I mean?
11?
Or 11, whatever it was. It was ridiculous amount. So yeah, I know that's an easy excuse, and I'm not using it as an out. There are ways in which we could have prevented it, but you said it yourself. Like that has been a problem area of us for years,
Mm-hmm.
years and years and years. Even when it was Josh Doig, Lewis Stevenson, Jordan Abita, Nicky Cadden, whoever it is at left back, that is a problem area. Whether it was
Yeah,
David Gray right back, Lewis Miller, Chris Cadden, do you know what I
don't
mean? We
forget.
just seem to not be able to defend crosses, unfortunately, or any
Yeah,
form of cutbacks.
no. And I genuinely thought that after they'd scored, it was going to be floodgates because we've seen it so many times, haven't we, at Celtic Park when we maybe start a little bit more positively and then they'll end up nicking a goal and with the quality that they've got, they just end up steamrolling you and proper bossing you out the game. But it looked as if we were sticking to the game plan of trying to get in behind. We create another couple of good opportunities before the break. Joe Newell has a really, really good chance from about 12 yards out. Lewis Miller's pulled it back to him, and he's a bit on the penalty spot in the middle of the box, and he's got right under the ball and skied it. It's poor. It's very poor. Don't know if you would class it as a sitter. I think I did at the time. But it's, again, after that first chance is missed, and then you get this one from Newell, you're maybe just starting to think, this isn't our day here.
I class it as a sitter. I actually think Kukarevic's first attempt is actually harder.
I said that to my dad when I was watching it.
Kukarevic's is hard, in my opinion.
I thought the way that the ball comes back at the pace that Lewis Miller puts on it, all it needs is a clean connection, I think, from Joe Newell.
Yeah.
And just to guide it into one of the corners.
Yeah. So with Kukarevic's one, he's got that time where he's bearing down on goal. As soon as he's through on goal, he's thinking, "Fuck, I've got all this space. Do I go round the keeper? Do I go my left foot? Do I go my right foot? Is the defender behind me? Am I getting chased? Do I chip him? Do I hit it early? Do you know what I mean?" And all of that goes through your head as a striker. I'm not saying it doesn't go through your head when you're a midfielder or that, but anyone when they're going through on goal, that's what they're thinking.
Joe Newell doesn't have the time. He doesn't have that luxury of time to think
which
about
is exactly what I'm about to say. Whereas week in, week out, probably day in, day out, whether Joe Newell's involved in it or not, at HTC, they will be practicing on cutbacks. It will be shots for the edge of the box, shots for just inside the box, first touch finishes, bottom right, bottom left placement, cutbacks, and then hitting it, easy finishes, first time strikes of the ball, all those types of like training sessions and finishing sessions that you do, the midfielders will be involved in it. I think the vast majority of that team, and Joe Newell for a matter of fact, again, on another day, finishes that.
Yeah.
I think that chance, Joe Newell's chance, is a bigger sitter than Kukarevic's one-on-one, because you don't have time to think about it. You don't have time to overcomplicate it. You just know you need to connect with this, get your foot over the ball, or your body over the ball, sorry, and just put your foot through it. And as long as it's on target, you stand a very, very good chance of scoring. And whether it be Joe Newell or anyone else that was on that pitch, I think on another, again, 9 times out of 10, that bare minimum hits the target. And most of the time it will probably hit the back of the net. But like you said, after that, it did certainly feel like it was fucking hell, right? Okay, that's another glaring opportunity we've got. Here we are at Celtic Park. Missed a chance to go 1-0 up. We've now missed a chance to go 1-1. What's going to happen now? And yeah, you're absolutely spot on.
I think just talking about that Newell chance before we move on to Mick's second one, it's again a really, really high pressure situation, because I think the players have probably got it in their head, if we can get a goal here, we're really banging this, because we're playing Celtic at their own game. We are exploiting their weakness, which is their high line. We've got the pace to get in behind, and we're creating chances. We're getting bodies in the box in important areas. That must be going through a player's mind before he strikes a ball. But yeah, I mean, like you said earlier on, these chances separate the good players from the great ones. And if you're that weighed down by the pressure of scoring at Parkhead, then it's obviously, you're obviously not a great player. You know what I mean? But you said maybe not going to be our day, and then we've got another massive chance, another big one-on-one. Big Mick bearing down on Kasper Schmeichel again, and I think this one is worse than the first, because I think this time he's got the first miss in the back of his head. He's got Joe Newell's miss in the back of his head. The clock is ticking over to half time. It would be a perfect time to score.
He keeps this one on his right as well.
He keeps this one on his right. He's obviously thinking, I need to do something different here. Takes a horrendous touch, and the chance is gone.
Yeah, I know. It's like he's through on goal, and it's pretty much a carbon copy of the first one. And it seemed like what was that? Potentially, he'd learned for the mistake of the first one in regards to protecting the ball, keeping on his right, his stronger foot, so he can get a better strike. And then what on earth was that? Do you know what I mean? Like Kasper Schmeichel, it probably had the busiest day that he's had
Yeah.
in a league game all season, and he's thinking, "Fucking hell, they're through on goal again." And then he goes and does that. Like at that point, you just know like game's gone, not happening. It's not a day, and then he just decides, you know what, I'm just going to pull a fucking sickie here. I've got to say hammy off, get me off. It's not my day of the day.
I mean, I think if I was him, I would have been doing exactly the same thing. Um, that can't be an easy thing to deal with mentally. You know, you've
My concern is he needs a goal, like any striker, right? He needs a goal. He
and
now
I think
needs
I think he needs a goal that's not a scramble over the line, tap in, like he's won against Hearts, like he's won against St Johnstone, like he's won against Motherwell. I think he needs an actual goal, like a,
oh, aye,
a goal
obviously.
that he's able to
But
finish. Not
any striker, he'll just need that ball to hit the back of the net, mate. Like I don't care if it's the most Christian Deutsch finish ever. Like he just needs another goal to his name because the longer he goes without another goal, the more we're going to be on his back
yeah,
subconsciously,
of course.
and that's going to play in the back of his mind as well. Yes, you're right. We need him to like pull out a fucking 30 yarder or something like that, or like
I know
a
they all
volley to the
count.
edge of the box, or just like a decent finish of any kind within in the box instead of a scrappy finish. But as a striker, he'll take absolutely anything. Very
Yeah,
similar to like Shankland at the weekend, just wants anything to hit the back of the net.
you
But you're
just
right; it needs to
you
be a
just
decent
need him to
finish as
get
well.
a bit of confidence, and once the confidence is there, he's going to start, you know, maybe being a little bit more maverick in his decision making. And if he was playing with a bit more confidence on Saturday, maybe came away from the game with a brace. We might not have won the game, we might not have got a point from the game, but he probably would have managed to get himself a couple of goals, which is, like I said earlier, it's exactly what we need because we've not got our attacking players doing enough for the attacking part of the game. Um, I just kind of want to kind of glaze over the second half dead quickly because I feel like, in terms of a Hibs perspective, it was kind of a fat load of nothing. Another couple of half chances, Eliu and Nicky Cadden had a chance. Lewis Miller had a chance. None of which kind of compared in terms of sitterness to the ones that we had in the first half. But the goals we
One of them
conceded,
not hit the bar or the
no,
post.
Celtic at the bar.
Was it
Celtic at the
them?
bar
I
in the
remember it
first
getting
half.
hit. Ellie Ewan
Uh,
does great to make his chance out of nothing as well. Like that's something out of nothing. He's chasing a dead ball, chasing it
Poor
back to
back
Casper
pass.
Schmeichel. Aye, so
Mm.
fair play to him.
I don't think. I genuinely don't think Eliu could have done anything else there apart from
Nah, I don't
try
think
and
so.
dink him. If the pass had a little bit less meat on it and he'd have got it a stride and a half or even just a stride before he actually got to the ball, he'd maybe be able to do a wee bit more of it and maybe force a little bit more from Kasper Schmeichel. But what he tried to do was the right idea. It's a good save from Schmeichel, and it's unlucky really from Nicky Cadden to blaze that ball over the bar. I don't think that that's a chance that he's particularly snatched at. I think even if that's on target, Kasper Schmeichel probably saves it. Um, None of the chances that we had in the second half, I think, compare to the ones that we had in the first half. But it was good to see us still going for it and getting in those positions. I want to talk quickly about the goals that we conceded because I look back on this game and I think that no way in hell is that a 3-0 game. Never in a million years. The second goal, they'd been troubling with balls into the box, but I mean, we were fairly comfortable from corners and set pieces. Joe Newell, it's really unlucky. Gets the final touch on it. I think it's flicked on by Adamida,
Yep.
and Joe Newell, just sticks his foot out trying to divert it anywhere apart from the goal, and it ends up in the roof of the net. It's a good finish, to be fair. Maybe if we could have done that for his one in the first half, we would have been all right. But that's a a sore one to take for Newell, but it's not one that we particularly look back on and go, that's pish. And then the third goal, I mean, Kyogo showing his class, really. What chance have we got when Celtic are bringing on Kyogo for Adamida?
Oh, I
Really?
know. It just kind of shows where they are at the minute. They're financially very, very, very advanced in comparison to everybody else in the league. So I don't like the term free hit. I don't see Celtic or Rangers as a free
Well,
hit.
I actually thought, I don't like that term either, but I thought that was the hittiest free hit that we've had against either of those teams for a long, long time, because of where we're at as a fan base with the team and the manager. That we know we're not doing well enough, but we're still backing them. We maybe picked up a little bit of confidence from the 3-0 win at Motherwell, and I felt like, regardless of the result on Saturday, if there was a performance, half a performance, or even just a couple of glimmers of hope, then I probably would have been fairly chuffed. And I think it's probably the happiest I've ever come away from a 3-0 defeat.
And I'm inclined to agree with that, but I'm still really, really annoyed because of the way that the game panned out. Like, if we had
Yeah.
created fuck all and it had finished 2 or 3-0, then I would have been like, right, okay, that's fine. Like, it's Celtic away, like, not expected too much. Obviously, we didn't create anything, they're flying, blah, 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 whatever. But I came away for that match absolutely fizzing.
Yeah.
And I was raging because we had a fantastic opportunity to get something for that game, and not just get something, but potentially take 3 points. Like, listen, I know if Miko scores his first goal, it's a completely different kettle of fish, and Celtic probably come out of first gear and come out into second gear, and then they probably get their goals and win the game anyway. But you just don't know how that's going to unfold. But
Yeah.
if we had managed to get something for that match, whether it be a point or three, that would have done the club, the fan base, David Gray, the players, everyone involved with the club a huge, huge lift. And it would have given everyone, I'm not saying the players don't believe in what David's trying to do, because they clearly are, hence some of the celebrations of some of the goals and the fact that we're getting performances from them. But that would have done them a world of good as well.
Do you not think that the players will take a little bit of confidence from that? Because I don't want to say the performance was so good, because in reality, getting beat 3-0, missing 3 massive chances,
I think,
performance isn't great, but
yeah, I think from a footballer's perspective,
better than not turning up at all.
yeah, I think from a footballer's perspective, you're always looking to improve and do better. You're not sitting thinking, oh yeah, like, well done. Here's your trophy for, oh, we done quite well. We you know well done. You played okay at Celtic Park.
Surely
Um,
you think that they'll take a little bit of confidence, though,
they will
because
take a little bit, but they will probably take more negatives from it, because if we then miss an early chance at the weekend, they're going to think, fucking hell. Yes, we might get another one, but fuck, here we go again.
yeah,
So it's the nature of the performance. The performance was good, of course it was, but the way that we created the chances and then didn't take them, it's not as if we hit a shot for 30 yards and it hit the bar and, oh, it could have went in, or we could have had a penalty but it wasn't given due to VAR. Like, we created those chances. That was down to our own doing. We created
yeah,
that ourselves. So
it's
yes,
kind
they'll
of a
take a lot
bittersweet
of
moment,
positives
really,
from
isn't it?
it, where they'll be like, right, if we do that again, we'll be fine. But
Yeah,
then what if we do that again and they don't score it again?
yeah,
And then that's
exactly.
where the negatives are going to come in. So subconsciously, that will lie there until we go and give someone a 2, 3, 4, 5-0 drubbing.
I mean, and it should have been. I feel like it was probably the worst time to play Celtic. And you're just starting to come into a little bit of form. I say that at the weekend, it doesn't really matter if you're on form, out of form, flying. If you're going to Parkhead, you need to make sure, like, they need to have an off day for you to get anything. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line. And for a wee while in the first half, it maybe looked like they were maybe going to have an off day. But like you said, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. The feeling that the players will take away from that the feeling that David Gray will take away from that, knowing that obviously we've got ourselves into those positions to score 3 goals in the first half at Parkhead and taking none of them. David Gray will be happy that we got into the positions. He'll be unhappy that we never took the chances. I'm sure that Kukarevich and Joe Newell will understand that if that happens, then they're not going to be in the starting 11 for very much longer if that continues to happen. So they'll know it. They ken it. David Gray kens it. Patsy kens it. But yeah, another problem area, just before we jump onto listener questions, has been the goalkeeper. However, for conceding 3 goals and scoring none, don't think the goalie had a bad game on Saturday.
I mean, he won't get dropped. I'll give
Yeah.
him that much. And he made a couple of good saves, but if he is number one of our club, then we're in a real shady position. That's pretty much all I've got to say on that matter.
Well, we've got a couple of questions about the transfer window. We've got one question about the transfer window, but what I'll say to you is, or I'll ask you, I'll put to you now, Shaun. You've got Joseph Bursick and Jordan Smith, and potentially, if we recall him, Murray Johnson, and you've also got Max Boric. That's a pretty drab looking goalkeeping situation, really, isn't it? Heading into
This guy's just going around in circles.
What one of your cats is that?
Not you, Kuma. He just went round in circles. He's came in through the window. He's then walked over.
I've seen him. He was.
And then he's went on the cat tree, and then he's came. Look, he's fucking back again, the wee bastard.
There he is.
My big boy.
Oh, he's not heard me.
If they're all fully fit and they're all 100% confident and their confidence is flowing through their veins, I'm taking Bursick. Now,
I think if they're all fit and confidence is flowing through our veins, I'm taking get someone else in January.
Well, aye. That was an option. I'm not taking Boric because as much as I would love him to be a success and I'd love him to be just a fraction of what his uncle was, right? Just a fraction. Because I would love for our goalkeeper to be half as fucking daft or like just a tiny wee bit as daft as his uncle, right? He ain't great. He went to Arbroath and conceded about 32 goals in 8 games or something like that. I know that's Arbroath, but like I watched the games. Like I saw the performances. They were not great. Murray Johnson, huge prospect. Love him to bits.
Maybe just not ready yet.
Maybe just not the right time. The way I looked at the summer window was we've brought these 2 goalies in. 1, Smith as a backup. 2, Bursick as a loan. And then chucking Murray Johnson up. Yeah, we get Murray Johnson out, we give him the games, and then hopefully if the club is in a good place and Murray's in a good place, he comes back and then he challenges. If not, he is then the number 1, and we have a shitey wee backup like Smith behind him for that. So that is still my standpoint on it. I would love for Murray Johnson to come back and absolutely smash it. But do I think
it would be unfair? I think it would be unfair. Young goalies are, I don't want to say they're problematic because I don't think that they are, but you know, you look at Robbie McCrory and you know, no one really looks at him as a great goalie, but I think that's probably because he was thrust into the fold when he was dead young, and he's always kind of been looked at as liability goalie, and now he's ended up at Kilmarnock, with all due respect to him. Just don't want that sort of thing to happen to Murray Johnson. I'd much rather see a steady incline in his ability in the teams that he's playing for. Obviously, he's at Airdrie at the moment. Maybe if we get him out on loan to a Premiership team or you know a team that's really going to challenge for promotion in the Championship in the second half of the season or the first half of next season, we might see a little bit more of Murray Johnson when it comes to being in the Hibs first team after that. I think it would be unfair to thrust them in at the moment, to be honest. And I think if all the goalies are firing fit and confident, I think Bursick is probably the obvious choice. But the fact of the matter is we need we need better in January. But I think after that performance, Jordan Smith's probably nailed his position in as number
For
one
the time being. Yeah,
until someone
certainly
else
for
comes
the
in.
time being.
I think so. Let's go to listener questions.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
Okay, first off, John McIntosh, what is for dinner?
I had a pork linguine
Oh,
and had some spinach through it with some parmesan on top.
lovely stuff. Lovely
Delish.
stuff. I've not had my dinner yet. It's 9:30. Not had my dinner yet, but I can tell you why. I was in the office today and it was like the works Christmas lunch and we got a big bunch of pizzas ordered in, which was good.
I had my work Christmas lunch today as well.
Did you really?
We
Did
went
you
to
did you go out for it?
we went to Bucks Bar.
Oh, did you? That's just round the corner from my work.
It's around the corner from my work.
What time were you there? Because I walked past it to get to the post
12
office.
till 1:30.
Mate, I would have been walking past when you were in there.
Imagine we'd seen each other. It would have been like that scene in Madagascar where the two of them are running towards each other. But then I was hungry, so I would have turned into the lion man for you.
Bucks Bar's good. What did you have? I went to Bucks
I
Bar.
had the Buck Mac. It's the one that's got like the burger sauce on
Oh,
it.
yeah. I had
Um,
when I went. I had the I think it was the buffalo one. But
Yeah.
mate, the chicken on the
Oh,
burger is
aye.
fucking so big.
It's about 3 burger size wide. I had salt and chili chips. Salt and chili chips, yeah. Salt and chili chips with it, with a side of mac and cheese.
Ooh,
The looks I was
okay.
getting from everyone on my team, they were like, nah, no
Was
way you're
it
finishing
all
that.
paid
No way.
for? Company card?
It, it was purchased. It was purchased and paid for. And yes, there was not anything left on my plate
That's
afterwards. It was
Christmas.
all gone.
It's Christmas, Sean. It needs to go on the company card.
My work doesn't know what a company card is.
No, well, we had so we usually go out for a Christmas lunch, but this year they were like, oh, we'll just get a bunch of pizzas in, like ordered. So they got pizzas from Razzo,
All right, aye,
Razzo Pizza,
uh-huh.
and that was really good. So they got there's only like I don't know, like 15, 20 people in the team, and they got like fucking 20 full size pizzas. So I was like going about, and I was like, oh, right, a wee bit of this, a wee bit of that, and there was still loads left, and nobody was eating anything, and I was like, oh, fuck it, I might as well just fucking keep going, eh? So I kept going, and then my gluttony got the better of me, and I
How
was
many
like,
total did you have?
I can't mind, but there was arancini as well. I had some arancini.
That's a 2.5 pizza man talking there, if I've ever heard one.
It was good though. It was good, and it was someone's birthday, so we had birthday cake as well. So
No wonder
happy
you've not
days.
dinner. I understand.
I'll probably have some toast later on. I've completely lost my train of thought. We were talking about Bucks Bar. No, so I had pizza for lunch, so I've not had my dinner yet. But John, I will probably have toast. I can't believe you've had an actual dinner after going to Bucks Bar.
Neither can I. Neither can I, mate.
Were you starving like?
No.
Or you just ate just cause?
Well, it got made, so it was
Fuel,
either
mate. Fuel.
it was either going in me or it was going in the bin.
Yeah. Was it a struggle?
No,
Oh, well, that's all right then. That's not so bad.
I didn't mess about, mate.
Fucking, no fucking about here, eh? Right. Next up, Gav Dick. Can't believe the missed opportunities that we passed up. Honestly, we weren't that bad, to be honest. Surely we start Gale from now on, and Miko is second choice. I think I read somewhere today that Kukarevich has picked up a knock, and he's not going to be available for
Fucking
the next
hope
couple
so.
of weeks.
Oh, sorry, did someone say that? Well, you would think
I
so.
don't know if there's any truth in that. That's just something that I've seen in the group
You
chat.
would think so, considering the reason why he's went off, obviously at the weekend.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. weird sidebar. I'm really annoyed that Harry McCurdy didn't answer the Spotify rap because he said he doesn't have Spotify, which obviously means he's got Apple Music in the video that Hibs posted. That really
I've
annoyed
got
me. I
Apple
wanted an
Music as
answer.
well. I've got
I-
Apple Music as well, and I can confirm that they do a Spotify rap style.
I know, because I'm an
Do you want
Apple
to,
Music
mate?
user myself.
Do you want to
So
see what mine was? Let's go back to Gav's question in a minute. I need to. I'm going to get you this up because how the fuck do you get it again? Is it made for you? No, that's not it.
I do wonder what the script is with Dwight Gale though, because genuinely, what does he need to do to get a run of games? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's obviously doing the right things, and he's.
Is
Do
it
you know
maybe
what?
it's not fit?
Well, do you know what is? Do you know what is confusing me at the minute?
What?
In a lot of David Gray's interviews, he keeps referring, or earlier on, he kept talking about Martin Boyle this, Martin Boyle that, relying on Martin, needs operation, or whatever, right? I don't know if he's still recovering for this operation and that's why he's not getting as much game time, but his performance is one of the greatest either. He can't even get a look in.
Yeah.
When we're chasing a goal, doesn't he get on, gets 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
When we're winning, doesn't he get a look in, gets minimal minutes. Celtic Park, and we're trying to play him behind, next to no
Exactly.
minutes again. So it's a bit of a strange one.
That is an odd one. Let's go back to Spotify Wrapped, Apple Music Wrapped.
I can absolutely, categorically guarantee you that none of my top 5 artists are the same as yours.
I can guarantee that none of my top 5 artists are the same as anyone who's listening. What do you want first, my songs or my artists? Because I think it'd be funnier if you hear my songs first. Because if I say the
Right.
artists, it's gonna give it away.
We'll go your songs, then we'll go my songs, then we'll go
Well,
your artists, and then we'll go my
do you
artists.
want to go one for one? We'll go one for one.
We're going to go 5-1.
Yeah, aye. Let's go 5-1. What was your number 5?
Okay. I thought you were going first. What's your
No,
number 5?
You go first.
Right. So, Mr. Quan, if you're listening, considering what he said is his top played on Spotify, not the same band actually, but my number 5, I honestly have no idea how this is on here, is Easy by La Seraphim, which are a Korean girl group.
Never heard of them, Shaun. But you might not have heard.
Mr. Quan will have heard and listened to them.
You might not have heard of my number 5 either. My number 5 is Real Love Baby by Father John Misty.
No, I've not.
You know, Real Love Baby, ooh, don't make me crazy.
Yes, I have heard that.
You heard it on TikTok? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's a good one.
My number 4, a little bit mainstream. Not the first time this artist will appear in the top 5. Habits by Eminem. So he obviously released.
You're a big Eminem head, aren't you?
Huge. He released his new album obviously this year. So my Spotify, my Apple Music got absolutely taken over by him after the album, and that one makes it in. The chorus is brilliant. There's a couple of references to South Park. There's South Park clips put in there as well, which is great. So yeah, that makes my number 4.
Number 4 for me is Ice Cream Piano by Vampire Weekend.
I've heard that.
Who I went to go and see on Sunday, and they were excellent.
Yeah.
Me and Megan were right at the front. It was very fun, actually.
Brilliant.
It was very fun. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Arson by J-Hope.
I don't know who that person is. I'm
It's
afraid.
a Korean rapper. He's part of BTS, but it's on his solo album. It is a tremendous song for the gym. Cannot recommend that highly enough for the gym. Like, to be fair, 4 of these 5 are heavily played at the gym.
Well, I can tell you that 4
you know
of
what
these
a gym
5.
is?
Nope. I can tell you that 3 of these 5, are heavily played in the car. Because coming in at number 3 for me is Let It Grow from the Lorax.
I was waiting on these.
Yep.
Yeah, I was waiting on these.
Let It Grow from the Lorax. 67 plays this year. Mostly on repeat because Mila loves it. And
that would make it to number 2 on my list, just to let you know.
Oh, for 67 plays?
Yeah.
Right. What's your number 2 then?
My number 2 is Apollo 440's Stop the Rock. You will know that. I can absolutely
Give us a
categorically
give us a
guarantee
wee
you
chorus.
it was on FIFA years and years ago.
Give
It's
us
like,
a chorus,
stop the
Shaun.
rock, can't stop the rock, you can't stop
Oh,
the rock.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
unreal song.
That's quite old though.
It is. It is.
Look at you.
I found a
Yeah.
few earlier on in the year. I found a few old school FIFA songs for like the early 2000s and that. And
There's quite a few good like playlists in that on Apple Music that have got like retro FIFA songs. Talking of FIFA, I actually got the new one like a few days ago because it was on offer, and the music on it now is absolutely crap,
garbage. Yeah,
really bad.
garbage.
Number 2 for me with 86 plays
That's the
is
exact
coming
same
in.
as me. 86 plays. Aye.
Is coming in. It's Baby Shark by Pink Fong, and similarly to Let It Grow from the Lorax, it is played almost, almost exclusively in the car. And because it is very short, Mila wants it on like 10 times in a row. So pray for me whenever I drive her anywhere in the morning. I need to listen to Baby Shark. It'll be me tomorrow, dropping her off at my mum's in the morning, and it'll be Baby Shark the whole way, I would imagine. Which brings us on to your number 1, Shaun.
Second entry from Eminem, Guilty Conscience 2.
Is that on the new one?
It's on the new one. Guilty Conscience 1 was the one with Dre.
Yeah, I like that one.
So this is the follow-up from that, Guilty Conscience 2. Brilliant part. It's where the album kind of flips on its head. Really, really good song. Again, very, very, very good for the gym.
Right, and how many plays have you got?
86.
And that's for your number 1?
That's for my number 1.
Right, my number 1.
With 104 plays.
No, coming in with 625 plays. It's not what you think it is. It's a Brown Noise Loop by Sleep
Right.
Therapy.
Okay. I think that says more about you more than anything else.
I think it does. 625 plays, and this is because before Milo was born, we got a white noise machine that would help for when she was a baby and sleeping in our room, and maybe help us kind of settle us with the noise that baby's making. That so we had that, and then when she moved through to her room, that went with her, and I couldn't then sleep without the white noise or the brown noise or whatever it is. So because I could hear myself breathing and it was annoying me, so I need to sleep with that on because I can't fall asleep without it.
That's a shame.
That is a bit of a shame because
So sorry to hear that.
it's going to wreck my Wrapped every year. And if it wasn't for that, Baby Shark would be number 1.
I take it you're artists. You've actually got artists in there then, right? No, or because of the top 3 on your top 5,
So-
that's messed up by it as well.
Yeah, so my artists is number 5 is Moshi Kids, which is that's Sleepy Paws. That's for when Tommy's going to sleep. 4 is Arctic Monkeys, 3 is Cortiners, 2 is Vampire Weekend, and number 1 is Sleep Therapy.
Alright, so it's a little bit
So
better then.
I mean, Vampire Weekend technically number 1. So you can bump everyone up 1,
Aye.
which would then make Oasis my number 5. Moshi Kids
That's what
4.
Oasis are in my top 4. Well, top
I've
5.
got-
After
I've
4,
actually
I've got J-Hope 5th, Oasis 4th, The Weeknd 3rd, BTS 1, and Eminem 2.
I've got quite.
BTS 2, Eminem 1.
I've got Dylan John Thomas in there. This is top 15. Dylan John Thomas, The View, Sabrina Carpenter, Jerry Cinnamon, Blossoms, Elton John, Dan Navarro. I've got. It's just
Wow.
it's just been absolutely
I
skewed.
didn't know you
by-
could see the top 15. Right, so Right, so 15-1, this is where I've got ABBA making number
Oh,
15.
I love ABBA.
Post Malone, Tiesto, Tomorrow by Together, Kanye West, Jungkook, Dua Lipa making an appearance, Queen, White Gold. What the fuck is White Gold in there for? Drake, Swedish House Mafia, J-Hope, Oasis, The Weeknd, BTS, Eminem.
Not bad.
I'd like to think so.
Not bad. I've got an ABBA album in my top 10, but it's ABBA Gold Greatest Hits 40th Anniversary Edition. So does it count?
I didn't
Brilliant.
check my albums either.
Right, let's get back to it.
Aye, we really should. We really should.
Yep.
Sorry, lads.
That was a 10-minute music ramble. That is over. Let me get back to the questions. Gav, I think we answered your question there. Dean Salim is asked, unbelievable amount of opportunities missed due to the fact that we have a striker that either lacking in confidence or seriously lacking in quality and ability. Not enough has been said about how well Jordan Smith held himself on Saturday. Do you agree?
Well, you've just said that. You said that earlier on.
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier on. I think that Jordan Smith made... I'm kind of struggling to find the words here because he conceded 3 goals. The goal beat 3-0. And he conceded 3 goals against Aberdeen as well. But I feel like in the Motherwell game and the Celtic game, he's kind of finding his feet a little bit and maybe...
In those games, he's made the saves that I would have expected a standard goalkeeper to make, which is a very low bar what we've got at the minute.
January 1st.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. And then Dean follows it up by asking, what would you say is the main priority in January for signings? And I know what I would say, but if you could only attack one problem area, what would it be?
Goalkeeper.
See, I would go opposite end of the park. I would say we need a striker in.
See, I think we've got enough firepower there. They just can't hit the back of the net at the minute. If you look at Hoylett, if you look at Yuan, if you look at Kukarevich, you look at Martin Boyle, Dwight Gale, Kieran Bowie to come back, I think that's more than enough firepower. And I think if we add any more to it, we're just maybe causing problems for ourselves and maybe too many cooks.
Yep.
I'm genuinely more concerned that we don't have creative centre midfielders rather than strikers. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's probably part of why we're lacking the ability to maybe create chances as much. But for me, it has to be the goalkeeping situation, which it won't. That won't get addressed. But that's what I want.
Yeah. And then finally, just to round off the listener questions, Nige has said we won't get a better chance against Celtic at Parkhead than we did on Saturday. We should have scored 1 or 2 at least. We have to take positives from the game though. County and Aberdeen are huge games. Smith looked more assured between the sticks, couldn't do much with the goals. I think he's kind of hit the nail more or less on the head of what we've been speaking about for the episode up to this point.
Yep.
Apart from our music choices. I think that most Hibs fans at the moment, Shaun, are pretty much in agreement about where we're at and what we want to see from the club in terms of, who the manager is going to be and who the players are going to be. We all kind of feel like we're in this together and we need to just start pulling in the right direction.
Completely agree.
Well, thank you for reaching out and sending us your questions. We're going to just have a quick look ahead to Ross County on Saturday, and then I've got a quick game for you, Shaun, and then I'll let you get away and let me get my toast. So, Ross County on Saturday.
Yes.
They have played 5 games since we played them away, and it finished 9 each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. So, they've taken 4 points from those 5 games. And I don't actually know how many points we've taken because I've not got us up. They drew nothing each away to St Mirren. They get beat 3-0 away to Ross County. They beat Motherwell 2-1 at home. Got beat 5-0 at Parkhead. And Rangers just beat them on Sunday 3-0 at their ground as well. What is their ground even called? Victoria Park or something.
Yeah. It's got a sponsor's
So,
name now, but
aye. So maybe it's one of the better fixtures that we probably could have hoped for coming off of Saturday's result.
I watched their game against Rangers at the weekend, and I watched a few of their highlights in recent weeks. And I found myself after the Rangers game at the weekend, I went, fucking hell, we could really do with playing this mob. Like, we
Yeah.
really need to play against the Ross County. And then I went, when are we playing them? And then I went, oh, next weekend. I was like, brilliant. So that kind of sums up where I think they're at versus where I think we're at. I feel like in recent weeks we've had tough challenges and tough fixtures, and things are maybe coming together a little bit with us. Yes, maybe we're not getting the
Yeah.
points that we want, but you know what I mean? Like, um, I want to have a go at ultimately the teams that we should be beating and the ones that we would expect to be at the bottom of the table. And the weekend is a fantastic opportunity to do that. I know nothing in this league is a given, considering two of the biggest clubs in the country are sat bottom of the table at the minute. But these are the kinds of teams where you're struggling and you kind of want, right, okay, these are the teams that I want to go and play. And it's kind of let the players off the leash. Like, yes, there's an expectation to win, but go and show your stuff. Go and do what you do. Go and do the stuff that we've been working on.
I think it's more than just getting the result over the line. Though. I think it's about putting in a performance that you can take positives from. Yeah, you can win at 1-0 with a scrappy goal or a penalty in the last 5 minutes. But I think the performance in these games, oh my God, did you hear that there?
No.
The performance in these games. Balls dropped there, man. The performances in these games have got to be up to par as well, because it's all well and good half doing it at Parkhead and getting beat 3-0. But if the performance isn't there for you to take any positives from, when you've got a real good chance of picking up 3 points at home, then the game's up the pole. We need to make sure that we're picking up the points, putting in the performances, because ultimately that's what's going to get us out of this sticky situation. And the season isn't getting any younger. We're nearly at Christmas. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas. And we're still bottom of the table. So we need to get our fucking finger out, basically. It's a great opportunity for us to flex our muscles and get 3 points. But more importantly, Shaun, Mark and I are going to be in Pioneers.
It's going to go tits up.
Well, I don't know, because the last time we were there, we beat Aberdeen 6-0.
Put your money on 6-0.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. Is when we were there, you know the boy on TikTok, the padded seat, the guy who goes about and
Yes.
rates all the...
He was there, and he's got any video.
He was there, and he was sitting just along from us, and he was talking to us, and he was going, "Oh, what do you think the game's going to? What do you think the game's going to be like?" And Mark went, "Oh, we'll pump them." And he went, "What do you think the score will be then?" They went 6-0, and he went, "No bother," and it ended up 6-0.
Wow. Surprised that didn't
Mark,
make it into the boys' edit.
No, well, he wasn't filming us for that,
right,
so
okay.
it can never be corroborated.
So you're going to say Mark had offered somebody a square goal or something like that.
I think he did that day, to be honest. Wouldn't it be unlike him?
Would not be unlike him.
No. But yeah, Pioneers on Saturday, sorry. It'll be very good. I'm looking forward to it.
Have fun.
It'll be a good laugh. Be a very good laugh. But just to round us off before we call it a night, Shaun, I've got a wee game for you.
Love it.
And I spoke to you earlier on. The game is a wee higher or lower sort of quiz. What I'm going to be asking you is also related to a quiz that you put together a few weeks ago now. And it's my favourite subject. It's squad numbers.
I thought it was going to be this. Right, okay.
So, I've compiled a list here. I've compiled a list of players that have played for both Hibs and Ross County.
Oh, wow.
And to be fair, I could only find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could only find 6, but one of them was Ross Laidlaw, and I'm no fucking doing him.
Okay.
So I've got 5 players here. Now, I'm going to start you with Ivan Sproul. Now, his squad number when he was at Hibs was 17. And his squad number when he was at Ross County was 16. So that gives him a combined total of 33.
Oh my god, right, this is
Right.
what we're doing. Right, okay. I thought it was going to be, he was 17 at Hibs. Was he higher or lower at Ross County?
So this is a culmination
Okay.
of all the different squad numbers that players have had
Fuck.
at either Hibs or Ross County. So you're going to need to rack your brains.
I am.
So, for example, Ivan Sproul had 17, but if he'd also had 10 at Hibs, then it would be 17 plus 10 plus 16.
But Ivan Sproul also wore 34 at Hibs.
I'm not counting that because I forgot.
Right, okay.
So Ivan Sproul's... oh no.
Good start.
Literally the 1 week where I'm allowed to make a quiz and I've not done the research properly. I swear the rest of it's right because I looked on Transfer Market. I was just like, oh, Ivan Sproul only wore 17 at Hibs.
Right, okay.
So, say for example, Ivan Sproul wore 17 and 10 at Hibs and 16 and 4
Okay.
at Ross County. It would be the sum
Yeah.
total of those numbers
Yeah,
together.
I'm with you.
So, Simon Murray is next. Does the sum total of his squad numbers from Hibs and Ross County, is it higher or lower than 33?
Lower, because he wore 15 at Hibs and he wore 9 or 10 at Ross County.
Unfortunately, Shaun, you've got your first question wrong.
Wow. What
The
did he wear
answer is-
at Ross County?
He wore 17, then 15 at Ross County.
Wow, right, okay.
So
That is higher.
he wore 15 at Hibs, 17 and 15 at Ross County.
Okay.
So that gives
Can we
him
actually
a
just
total of-
can we actually just make that correct because Ivan Sproul wore 34 at Hibs, so technically I'm correct.
No, not by my calculations.
So your calculations are 34 plus 16 plus 17 are lower than 15, 15 and 17.
30. So hold on, 34, 16, 17. So 34 and 16 is 50, 67. Right, I'll give you.
Thank you.
So Simon Murray is 47. That's the combined total of his squad numbers at both
Right,
Hibs
so
and Ross County.
right, so I need to think about if they had multiple numbers at each club
Yeah.
as well, right? Okay,
Basically.
I'm with you. Fucking hell, this is difficult.
Next is Liam Fontaine. Higher or lower than 47?
My gut says lower, but only because I can't remember him wearing anything other than 5 at Hibs. But I feel like he wore something else at Hibs. And I don't remember whatsoever what he wore at Ross County. I can't even
Don't
remember
have
that
to
he
press
played
the
for
time
Ross
answer, yeah.
County. I'll go lower.
And you'd be correct. He wore only 5 at Hibs.
Yeah.
When he first signed for Ross County,
Did he wear
wore
like something?
32.
Oh, I was going to say 20 or 32. What a guy.
He wore 32.
What a guy.
And I'm sure he scored against Hearts when he was wearing 32. Or maybe scored against Rangers or something.
I couldn't even remember he
Um,
played for Ross County. So
And then the season following that, he wore 4. So that gives Liam Fontaine a total of 41. Now, the next player up is Ollie Shaw. Does he have higher or lower than 41?
higher. There's no way Ollie Shaw got number 9 at Ross County. There is no way. And he was 32 at Hibs.
You sure?
Did he get 9? Did he wear less 9 or lower at Ross County?
What's your answer? What are you going for?
I'm going for right. So Liam Fontaine 41.
Yep.
Ollie Shaw were 32 at Hibs.
Mhm.
I don't know if he wore anything higher than that before he joined the first team. I'm not having Ollie Shaw as Ross County's number 8 or number 9.
Well, it's actually funny you say that. Because he was both Ross County's number 8 and number 9.
Oh, so
at
right,
some
so I'm
point.
right.
So it is higher.
Right, okay.
So he wore 51 and 32 at Hibs. And then when he signed for Ross County, he wore 19. Then the following season, he was 8. And then the following season after that, he was 9.
Oh,
so that gives Ollie Shaw, anyway. Yeah, that gives Ollie Shaw a combined total of 119. Now, the last player, I think you'll get this name order. I probably should have swapped the order around. Is Jason Naismith. Now, I forgot he played for Ross County as well, but what you need to remember, Shaun, is that he had 2 spells at Ross County. So is it higher or lower than 100?
There's no way that it can be higher than someone that had 32, 51, 8, 9, and 15, or whatever it was. I'm going to say lower. I think he had the number 15 shirt at Hibs.
You're not very good at this.
I'm saying
not
very
lower. Good at remembering
very good.
Number. 21, he wore at Hibs. In his first spell at Ross County, which was before he joined Hibs, he wore number 23. And his second spell at Ross County, he wore 3. So that gives Jason Naismith 47.
You said I'm not very good.
You're good at guesstimating, but you're not good at getting the exact numbers, are you?
Well, no, maybe not the exact number, but the purpose of the game is higher or lower, and I think I got all of them apart from one right.
Well, I mean, you got them all right. I mean, based on a technicality for the first one.
Yeah. And that's your fault because you forgot that Ivan Sproul won 34.
I think VAR checking, possible offside.
Goal given.
Yeah, check complete, goal given, number 34.
I'm glad you started with Ivan Sproul because if you'd ended with it, or if he was in the middle, that really would have messed it up for you.
Yeah, it kind of would have fucked it up a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well done.
Well,
I like that.
Well done to you. I was trying to think of something that was a wee bit different that we've not done before. Yeah. And I didn't know if you like maths.
We can maybe... No, I like it. We can maybe do another higher or lower, but we could do it with goal scorers or appearances, or we could do other shirt numbers.
We've done that, though, eh? I don't know. I enjoyed it. Yeah. You enjoyed it. Hopefully you at home enjoyed it. And that's going to wrap us up this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Actually, before we go, we've got... I meant to say this at the start of the fucking episode, didn't I? We've got a competition running on the Twitter with Mezzala Designs, who are offering a print, one of their prints. If you retweet our tweet and follow us and follow Mezzala Designs, you'll be entered into the draw. The draw will be made on Friday, I think. They're doing the draw. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning one of those prints, it's David Gray scoring the winner in the cup final. It's one of these prints, Shaun.
Yep. There we go.
One of those ones with
they've got a Russell Latipi one, they've got a Benji one in the cup final, they've got a Paul Hanlon against Hearts as well.
Yes, they do have a Paul Hanlon against Hearts. It's kind of that old school Football Manager style.
Love it.
See, so I think the ones that they're offering for this giveaway are that David Gray one and the Paul Hanlon one.
Good for all the dads out there.
At Tynecastle. So if you want to get involved with that, just head over to our Twitter, scroll down a few tweets and you'll find it, or head over to the Mezzala Twitter because they've tweeted a couple of times about it as well. So, get involved in that if you can be arsed. If you can't be arsed, then you fucking bother. If you see me at Pioneers on Saturday, I don't want to take any pictures with you. I'm far too big time for any of that. Mark might, but leave me alone, please. I'm trying to enjoy a nice Christmas night out. But all that's left for me to say is, Shaun, thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much.
And
have a lovely evening. Enjoy your toast.
Have a lovely evening. I'll try and enjoy my toast as much as I can. So, cheery bye. Over and out.
Let's get ready to rumble.